And we're back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast, bringing you our fifth and final segment, which is going to be going over one of the first significant trades of really this entire season, which is Hunter Harvey being traded to the Kansas City Royals. So let's get into this. So I am going to be starting to do my full trade deadline previews as we get into the day, which is, of course, July 31st. And Harvey was going to be one of the top relievers available on my board, but he has now been swooped up by the Kansas City Royals 2 full weeks before this trade deadline, and I think it's a really great trade for them. So, going over Hunter Harvey has just been a consistent reliever since coming over to Washington these past few years. Has had a little bit of a down season this year, but I still think he's a very good pitcher and will be a very good fit for this Royals team. So, going over his stats now, we're going over the side for the Royals first. Has 10 K per 9 this year, which is up from last year. His walk per 9 is up for 2.40. His BABIP is fine at 0.325, so it's fine. His ERA is 4.20. His expected ERA is 4.18. His FIP is 3.16, and his expected FIP is 3.22. Pitching WAR of 0.9. Looking at some other stats as well, barrel percentage is down from last year, which is nice at 7.3. Hard hit percentage though is up at 48%, so that's not great. But overall, I think Hunter Harvey is just a pretty solid middle relief pitcher. I don't think there's really anything else with him. I think he's a guy that can really lock down the 7th or 8th. The 8th you're pitching at 7th, I think really is his bread and butter. And I think it's just a very solid add for this Royals team. Now, what they gave up for him, I think might have been a little much. But, again, you're desperate for bullpen help for this Royals team. He's controllable. He's a free agent in 2026. So obviously you get him for next year as well. So I think that overall this is a very solid addition for this Royals pen. Again, this Royals team is going to be competitive. They are right now only 2 games out of the last wild card spot. I think they have all the chances in the world to be able to make the playoffs. This team is very good, and being able to get a reliever like Hunter Harvey at this point, you're getting him 2 weeks before the trade deadline as well, I think is a very solid addition. And overall, I think is someone that is really going to end up being a big piece of your bullpen for you. Now, looking at this bullpen as well, you have some other nice pieces. John Schleber's been okay since coming over from Boston in a trade as reliever. He's been all right, but nothing crazy. Angel Zepra has been solid. Chris Stratton's been okay. James MacArthur's been solid. So, those guys have been good, but nothing crazy. And I think just adding Hunter Harvey kind of adds your MO as your bullpen core. Just okay, decent, solid guys. And overall, I think being able to get the control for next year as well is very solid. And yeah, I think that overall this is a very good pick this is a very good trade by this Royals team, being able to add to your bullpen. You'll still need more guys. I think Tanner Scott of the Marlins could be a really fantastic add for this team. I think him closing games for you would be really great. So we're looking out for that, but I think overall, just looking at it for that part, for the Royals side of it, I think it's a really good pick. It's a really good trade for this Royals team, and yeah, I like it a lot. The Nationals. I think the Nationals honestly did really, really well in this trade. Hunter Harvey is a very good player. Don't get me wrong. He's a very solid reliever. Nationals maybe could have used him next year when they're competitive, but at the same time, he's a reliever. You can find a lot of those guys anywhere. And the haul that you got, I wouldn't say haul. That kind of sounds like you're getting a lot back. The prospects you got back, I think, honestly, are really nice. You got back Caden Wallace from Kansas City, a guy who is a top 10 third base prospect, according to LB Pipeline. 2nd round pick in 2022 from them is going to slide into AA. Going to probably be up in the middle part of next year. Has some really good stats here in AA. 777 OPS. Last year as well, hit really nice in AA. 745 OPS. So I think, honestly, Wallace has some really nice hitting tools. 45 hit to a 50 power. 65 arm, 55 field, so can be able to stick at third base position, being able to hit decently well. I think, honestly, for a year and a half of an okay reliever, I think being able to get a prospect like Wallace is really, really great. I really like this trade for them, and I think overall is really nice. And they also got the 39th overall pick in the draft, and you may be thinking, well, you can't trade draft picks in MLB. Well, you're right and you're wrong. You can't trade actual draft picks, or you can trade compensatory draft picks, which is what the Royals did here, trading the 39th overall pick, which is a compensatory pick, to the Nationals, and they ended up taking Caleb Lomavita, who is a catcher from Cal. Lomavita seems like a pretty solid pick there, nothing too crazy, but being able to get the draft pick if you're choosing, not being able to just choose from some other organization, I think is a really good opportunity. And I really like this trade a lot for Washington. I think they got a really good haul back, and the Royals as well. I think they may have given up a little bit, but being able to get him 2 weeks before jumping on the bullpen market when seeing a need and being able to get it, I think was a really good job by them. Really good job by JJ Piccolo there in Kansas City. And yeah, I like this trade a lot for both teams. Looking at this Royals team now, I think going into this trade deadline, I think they are going to be a competitive team for the rest of the year. They're very close to the wild card right now, only 2 games out of the wild card versus the Red Sox, and they do have some needs. They need to add another bullpen arm, I'd say, even after getting Hunter Harvey. Probably another bat, maybe an outfielder or an infielder. I think a guy like Tommy Pham, who's low cost, but would add a spark to your lineup hitting-wise, I think would be a really good fit. So this Royals team, I think, is very solid, has an insane pitching core. Cole Reagans, Brady Singer, Michael Wacha, Seth Lugo, I think, is absolutely fantastic. So be very interesting to watch what they do the rest of this trade line. But I think this is a really nice opening pick. I keep saying pick because I'm just in draft mode. Really nice opening trade for their deadline. Really nice way to start off the deadline for baseball fans. And yeah, I really like it. The Nationals, I'm not sure what else they're going to do at this deadline. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to, if they're going to trade guys like Joey Gallo, Jesse Winker, Lane Thomas, guys who could. Gallo, I think, is going to be gone, but Winker and Thomas, a guy who's under control for next year. Winker, a guy who can help out for the future. I think both these guys are able to help out for the Nationals next year when they are going to be competitive, when our young talent is up. But you can get a lot of good prospects back this year, so it's going to be very interesting to see what the Nationals do end up doing with this team. Cal Finnegan as well is a reliever, kind of in the same thing as Harvey, who's very good, but has a year and a half remaining on his contract, and he's a reliever, so he's you're able to replace him if you want. So I really like this trade for both sides. Really nice way to open up the trade season, and yeah, really nice trade for both sides here, and very, very excited for the deadline. We'll be doing more of this as it goes on. So yeah, that is our show for today, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe to the notification bell to not only get notified when I upload, but all the other great content creators on this channel too. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram for more content and updates. Watch the Home Run Derby tonight. It's going to be fun. I'll see if I'm right tomorrow. And yeah, thank you for watching again today so much. We'll see if baseball throws at us tomorrow, and we'll see you then. Thanks, guys, and bye.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to